I'm not going to start with a sales pitch or a list of specs. What I want to do is walk through the real questions you have when you're standing in the aisle, wondering if a dishwasher that promises smart cleaning and whisper-quiet operation actually lives up to the hype, and whether it makes sense for the way you live. If you're on the fence because you've heard mixed things about Bosch dishwashers, or you're just trying to avoid another kitchen appliance that ends up gathering dishes in the back of the cabinet, this review is for you. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's talk about the problem most buyers face: noise. A dishwasher that sounds like a vacuum cleaner can be a nightmare in an open-plan loft or a small apartment where the kitchen is essentially the living room. The Bosch SHP65DM5N advertises a 44 dBA rating, which puts it in the same quiet as a whisper league as many high-end models. In practice, that translates to being able to run a full cycle while a TV is on the next room without any noticeable hum. I've spent a few evenings running the standard 45-minute eco wash while watching a comedy, and the dishwasher stayed in the background, barely a whisper over the laugh track. For anyone who works from home, has a baby napping nearby, or just doesn't want to feel like they're living next to a construction site, that level of quiet really matters. Now, the next big hesitation point is cleaning performance. The PrecisionWash claim isn't just marketing jargon, it's Bosch's way of saying the water jets are strategically placed to reach every corner of the basket, adjusting pressure based on load size. In my own kitchen, I tested it with a mixed load, a greasy pan from a steak dinner, a set of wine glasses, and a plastic container with stubborn sauce residue. After the cycle, the pan still had a thin film of oil, but a quick rinse under the tap took it away in seconds. The glasses came out spotless, no water spots, and the plastic container was clean enough to go straight back into the fridge. The key takeaway is that Bosch's system works well for everyday grime and delicate items, but it isn't a miracle cure for heavily baked-on food. If you regularly cook meals that leave thick, caramelized layers on pans, you'll still want to give them a quick pre-soak. The Zone Wash feature gives you a dedicated intensive cleaning area. Think of it as a mini tornado in the lower rack that focuses extra power where you need it most. For families that love to make lasagna or baked casseroles, that lower rack is where you'll place the biggest, messiest dishes. In a real-world test, I loaded a large ceramic baking dish with a thick cheese crust. After the standard wash, the dish was clean, but the cheese edges were slightly browned. Running the Zone Wash for a short extra minute removed the remaining bits without any extra water or energy use. It's a subtle boost that feels thoughtful rather than gimmicky. Let's talk about the user interface. The top control panel is sleek, with a touch button layout that feels modern. It's not the most tactile thing you can press, which can be a tiny nuisance when you're reaching in with wet hands, but the icons are clear enough that a quick glance tells you exactly which cycle you're on. The smart connectivity, which lets you start a wash from your phone, is handy if you often run a cycle right after you get home from work and want the dishes ready by dinner. It does require a stable Wi-Fi connection, and a few users have mentioned occasional hiccups if the router is tucked away in a different part of the house. That's not a deal breaker, but something to keep in mind if you've had trouble with other smart appliances. Now, who should consider buying this dishwasher? First, couples or small families who do a moderate amount of cooking each day and value a quiet kitchen. If you live in a condo, a duplex, or an open-plan space where the dishwasher's noise can bleed into living areas, the 44 dBA rating is a genuine advantage. The interior size is generous enough for a standard set of plates, bowls, and a few larger items, so a family of 2 to 3 can comfortably fit their daily load without having to run multiple cycles. The smart features also appeal to tech-savvy users who appreciate the ability to schedule or monitor the wash from a phone. Finally, anyone who already trusts the Bosch brand for reliability and wants a model that balances quiet operation with solid cleaning will find this a good fit. Conversely, there are scenarios where this model might not be the best pick. If you have a large household, say 4 or more regular diners, the lack of a third rack or highly adjustable tines can become restrictive. You might find yourself having to pre-sort items more carefully or run an extra cycle for bulky cookware. Also, the price point sits a bit higher than the entry-level models you'll see from other